Don't touch. Okay.
Oh, I know you did. I finished mine. And then I went to the store and bought two more.
We're live. Thank you, Matt. Thank you so much. And Kevin, thank you. All right, good evening. Welcome to the Mayor and Town Council Brentwood. This is our council meeting scheduled for Tuesday, October 18, and we're starting this meeting at 7:04 p.m. As you know, this meeting is being held in person and virtually. Residents can view this meeting via Comcast Channel 71, Verizon Channel 36, or use the YouTube Live at Brentwood MD. For public comments during the meeting, you can email info@brentwoodmd.gov for the Zoom link. With that, I will have our town clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Vetri Goff,
Present.
Councilmember Monroe,
Present.
Vice Mayor Leggett,
Present.
Councilmember Taylor,
Present.
Mayor Tremaine Lopez,
Here.
Town Administrator Gaston,
Present.
Chief Washington,
Present.
Treasurer Dorsey,
Present.
Attorney DeLoach,
Present.
and Giselle Richards, Town Clerk, present.
Thank you. With that, we're just going to do a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Need a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda of the meeting of the Mayor and Council pending some additions.
Mayor, if I may, I'd like to add under old business, a vote for the approval of a resolution governing the display of flags on town property.
And we also have the MOU, the mutual agreement between Brentwood and Carter City.
Is that old or new business?
It's all business.
Police departments, right?
Yeah. Okay, any other item that we need to include?
Yes. Actually, so I wanted to approve funding for Veterans Day, but we should be under 500, so we're good.
Alright. Well, under the mayor's report, I will give the update on the Wyndham Road project, so. But we have, Shelley, I did send you the invoice. You were able to see that invoice today
Invoice for,
for the Wyndham Road burial?
I have it, but I'll pull it when I,
Okay, all right.
oh.
All right, anything else? All in favor to approve the agenda? Say aye.
Aye.
So moved. Thank you. Okay, we have upcoming events. Friday, October 28th, we have the Free Little Library unveiling. Oh, Art Magnet event. That's what I thought, okay. And Halloween event, starting at 6:30 p.m. And on Tuesday, November 1st, is gonna be our work session.
The Art
Any other
Magnet
ones?
event starts at
4:30.
4:30, and Halloween will start at 6:30.
6:30. Art Magnet event.
And all of these are in there.
Excuse me. You talking about the invoice for the food?
No,
That's the only thing
No,
I
no, no.
got. I
I
didn't,
sent you the one for the neighborhood design center.
Okay.
Okay, well, do we have any minutes today, or we skip the minutes? No minutes, okay. Public comments?
I have not received any public comments via email or voicemail.
Okay, no, all right, so moving down the agenda, we are going to have Mr. Gaston, the proclamation bridging the two towns, but Mayor Robinson said that she might be here around 7:15. It's just for ceremonial purposes, so we don't need to do that. Because she just signed, but in the wrong paper. So, and we want to make it official. That's all. Police chief report.
Hey, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. So for the month of September, I got it. For the month of September, we had a total of 327 calls for service. 295 of those calls were handled by Brentwood Police Department. In the month of September, parking, traffic-related fees that were collected were a total of $755. And I attended the 2022 Chiefs and Sheriffs Association Conference and Training Seminar in Ocean City, Maryland. Attended the Prince George's Chiefs Association meeting. I was also appointed to the Prince George's Chiefs Association Executive Board as a board member at large during the month of September. Attended the Cheverly Police Department's Public Safety Night. Also attended the 100-year anniversary block party with the church members and residents of Perry Street. Conducted a meeting with representatives from Ultimate, the speed camera vendor, to discuss the parking ticket software deficiencies and issues. We also had coffee with the chief at Studio 3807 at the Mixed Food Hall. I attended the Law Enforcement Committee meeting with Glenn Vespa. Attended Edmiston's Police Unity Tour, and attended Brentwood's first Hispanic Heritage Day celebration. Are there any questions for my attendance this month? Or any questions for fees collected this month? Or are there any questions for our 327 calls for service this month, which Brentwood handled 297 of those?
How many of those, I have questions. How many of those were like loud music complaints?
So if you refer to the sheet for calls for service, Madam Mayor, loud music complaint. We got 4 official documented calls for service this month. No reports were written. I don't believe that there were any citations or anything or any infractions issued, but we did receive 4 911 calls for service for loud music complaints.
And the reason I bring this might be new to you, Chief, but we have an ordinance place about noise complaints. And with that noise complaint, there is a fee that we charge whoever wants to do a party in their house.
I'm aware.
So they supposed to register. And the reason I bring this out, because this past, not this weekend.
Last weekend?
Last weekend.
Mhm.
So there was a loud party. I wasn't even bothered by the party,
Right.
the music, but the parking, the vehicles were parked like even in the grass, in the sidewalk, everywhere, blocking driveways. So people were like crazy, notifying me about this issue. So they're not complaining about the music. They were complaining about the parking issue that we had. And then, I didn't know if that house in particular had any permit to conduct any of those. And I guess it is explained in the application that how you're going to allocate parking if you're going to have guests coming over. So yes, it was a little bit of a mess that Saturday. So I just want to bring that to your attention,
ma'am.
that we need to put something in the newsletter reminding people that they need to let us know that they're gonna have a party. There's no
Right.
problem with that, but they have certain hours,
Right.
and also that we have already issues with parking.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Thank
any other question or complaints? Okay. Thank you. Now I move to. Do you have any other?
It's under old business.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
No. Yes. It's in the next page.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Treasurer's report.
Yes, starting with the treasurer's cash report, reporting for the period ending September 30th, 2022. The ending balance in our general fund is $1,739,715.42. The ending balance in the ARPA account is $830,051.14. Ending balance in the capital fund is $235,272.33. The ending balance in the PNC money market is $298,636.98. Ending balance in the money market account is $189,601.31. Ending balance in the credit card account is $105,801.66. And the ending balance in the BB&T checking is $292,934.14. Total cash on hand at the end of September is $3,692,012.98. Our P&L, or budget versus actual report for the period ending September 2022. Total income to date is $1,377,785.12. Total expenses is $694,932.74, with a net income or surplus of $682,852.38. And the bills that are presented for your review and approval is $83,328.31. That ends the reading of my treasurer's report, all subject to audit.
Any questions about the audit?
The audit? Well, I mean, I can give you an update. So I did receive the draft, and I did the updates that needed to be done, and I submitted it or sent it back. However, there is a very small window of opportunity for mayor, council to provide some additional updates, if you want to highlight some of the things that we accomplished during the FY22 year. So just send those, just bullets, very short, brief, and I'll make sure they get included.
Thank you, Shelley.
Mhm.
All right. There are no more questions. I'll move to the town administrator's report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. James Gaston, Town Administrator. Really quickly, I'm going to go through the RFPs, Public Works and Parks Department. The new town center is moving along expeditiously. If those who are interested can contact the town. We do tours of the construction every 2 weeks on a Thursday morning. So just send us an email or give us a call. Let us know you want to take a tour. A no construction, no parking zone that has already been created. The times are limited, but it helps with construction. The Prince George's County Permitting Office is letting us know via email that our permits are moving through the process, and we are meeting our deadlines. Public Works, we are waiting for Prince George's County Public Works Division to reinstall the fencing at our Public Works yard. The new leaf machine is ready to go. However, we are waiting for a new pickup truck because it's a little larger than the previous one. So unfortunately, there's been a supply chain situation, but as soon as one becomes available, we will have it, and then we will start the process of picking up leaves. In the meantime, we're asking residents to put their leaves in a bag, paper bag, and dispose of them on yard waste on Mondays with baits. Let's see. Prestige before October 31st is going to plant 14 new trees. in the town that were removed when they last came through. There's no update on the sidewalk. The other thing I wanted to mention was that, and I mentioned it last meeting, is that the Public Works needs to purchase the salt for this upcoming winter, and we also need an approval, if you will, for the tune-up for our Bobcat. These are two items that need to be approved. It was mentioned in previous meetings. I just need approval to move forward. The MML banner plaque has been totally updated with all the necessary or earned years, if you will. It took a minute for us to find it, but we are now up to date. 2000.
Mr.
Yes,
Gaston,
Yes,
I just
ma'am.
noticed we're missing 2019.
2019. I'll have to reach out to them
Mhm.
with that about 2019.
Please, because I'm sure we got all those years.
I'll ask. I'll ask. Let's see. The town is currently selling 2 vehicles that are no longer serviceable. If you are interested, send us an email at info@brentwoodmd.gov. The deadline is this Friday to submit a quote. Highest bid will take either vehicle, and then they will be sold. Our brand new EV stations are almost ready. The power has been installed to the EV station. Pepco needs to come out and turn on the panel, and hopefully that'll be done within the next couple of days. We also established a trash and recycle bin at that location so that while people are recharging their vehicles, they don't have to throw their trash on the ground. They have 2 brand new trash and recycle bins to empty them. The operations or the Magnet Arts project will be installed on Friday, October 28th at either 4 or 4:30. I think it's 4:30. Is it 4 or 4:30?
Double check, it's actually 4.
4. Okay, so it's at 4. Our big belly trash bins. The tech upgrades have been ordered, and as soon as the parts come in, we will go from the 4G network to the 5G network. The town has ordered a new tire swing for the playground, and we're just waiting for delivery. And there are pictures about the tire swing. The town interviewed a full-time code enforcement officer candidate, and we are waiting to finish processing his paperwork. We are also still seeking a new town clerk and an experienced full-time police officer, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Staff training. The town was awarded these sustainable credentials for 3 more years, and we'd like to thank Vice Mayor and the Mayor for making that possible. So we are good to go for the next 3 years, and that was awarded to the town at the MML Fall Conference, and I'm going to defer to our mayor when she does a report about the sustainability piece, but I just want to let everybody know we are up to date. The town administrator graduated from the UMD Academy program as a fellow, and the lead code enforcement officer is a current student in the UMD Academy program. I've also signed myself up for the continuing education torchbearers program with the academy. I attended the fall workshops in MML. I also attended the fall NFPPA board meetings in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's see. Code enforcement. The code enforcement report is orange, and if you're interested, you can go down to numbers. Alrighty. Events and training 4, rental inspections 1, rental inspections multifamily was 1, business inspections was 3, violations notice 16, building permits 4, Pepco lights out 1, no dumpster permits, stop work order 0, parking issue tickets 5, vehicles issued to tow 7, and municipal citation fine 3.
I have a
Yes, ma'am.
question.
Yes.
Were you done?
Yeah, no, I still got economic development.
Oh, go ahead. Finish your report.
I've been busy.
Go ahead.
The Brentwood Business Network had a joint venture with Calmer Manor. We had our quarterly meeting September 27th. The guest speaker was Employee PG. And then I also attended the brand new opening of the Kaiser Permanente West Hyattsville campus. Great event. And the town also was a site for the small business tour with Secretary Jimmy Reed on October 13th. That was held at Mixed Food Hall. All very well attended event, went very well. Lamplighter will be posted on Monday, October 31st. Still need to meet with L.A. Perez regarding grants. And that's it. And then we do know that's it. Anybody have any questions?
Well, I don't know if it's really, well, I think there's a question in there. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but on the charging stations, so when we got the first set of charging stations that we used for our vehicles, we realized that there was also a need for the community to be able to charge vehicles. And so the decision was made, it was a different council at the time. The decision was made to allow the residents to use those charging stations for free until the new ones went in. And so I guess the question is, are we charging? And if so, what are those fees going to be? And do we need to do a resolution of some sort to put that in play?
Mm-hmm. So we currently have 4 charging stations. 2 are for the town, which are not on the grid. The other 2 are going to be from Pepco, which will be on the grid. Pepco has their own charging facility. They have a QR code. When you arrive, you scan, and they charge you. So those are the Pepco ones. Those will be on the grid. So anyone, anywhere who's in the area who needs to charge can stop by and charge.
Oh, okay.
So that's the Pepco ones. The government ones, like I like to call them, we currently only have 1 vehicle, but we are going to get 2, and so those will be for the government vehicles.
Okay,
And
so we'll start restricting the use for the government ones for just our
And they can use
vehicles.
the other ones, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that I can
Okay.
agree more. Okay, great. Yep.
I just wanted to
Yep. No
be
worries.
sure and make sure that transition.
No worries. And
happens.
we have the ability to turn off the government ones. So even if you came late at night, it wouldn't be on. You couldn't charge anyway. But the Pepco one, I have no control over. So
Gotcha.
does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Everybody get that?
Excellent.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
No, the only question I have is that I don't have the sidewalk RFP yet. That's my only comment.
Oh, okay. We're still working on that, and we will definitely get that to you by the next meeting.
Okay, all right. So let's see what else we have here. There were some emails that I forward to you, to the vice mayor about the permitting office. For some reason, they're coming directly to my email, so I just keeping sending back.
Yeah.
What is that?
So because the permitting process includes the owners of the building, that would be the town administrator, the mayor. They are just keeping us updated.
Oh.
That's all they're doing. They're letting us know that the process is going and any issues are being resolved by Milestone and Mr. Don Smith, our architect. So, and they haven't reached out to me to indicate there's any hiccups. Everything seems to be going well. However, we meet every 2 weeks, one to do the tour and to do action items to make sure the building is moving forward. For those who don't know, we framed the second floor, so it is getting there. And the lower level is the pillars are being installed as well. So that building is moving. You can take a tour, check it out. It's moving quite well. As a matter of fact, Matt has been taking pictures, if I'm not mistaken. So he is going to. It's either going to end up in a Flickr on the website, or it's going to be in the newsletter. Correct, Vice Mayor?
Maybe.
Vice Mayor?
Video.
I'm sorry.
Just say yes.
Yes.
Nice to know.
Not
he's good.
easy.
Anybody else have any other questions?
No.
Great.
Anyone? I would like to pause just to introduce our neighbor mayor. Robinson is here with us tonight because we are going to sign this proclamation bridging the two towns, and I will have Councilmember Monroe to read into it. She's to sign the original document.
Hello, Mary.
All right, good evening, everyone.
And good evening. Good evening.
Welcome.
Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Glad to be here. Thank you for the invite. I'm glad that we are coming together. We Bridging the Brentwoods started a couple of years ago. And I think it's a great idea, and I'm glad to be here for this opportunity. But I also want to add that we do need to do some things together, because that's what Bridging the Brentwood was about. And if we can come up with some ideas on collaboration, I think it will add to what we're doing and give impact on the town of Brentwood and the town of North Brentwood. That's all I have.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Proclamation for Bridging the Brentwoods. Whereas the town of Brentwood and the town of North Brentwood was founded by Captain Wallace Bartlett, a white captain in the Civil War, and whereas Captain Bartlett gave the higher ground to the white soldiers of his regiment and called it Brentwood, and he gave the lower level ground prone to flooding to the black soldiers and called it North Brentwood. And whereas in the early 1900s, a barrier was placed to show that Brentwood needed separation from blacks at that time, and the town of Brentwood was a sundown town and did not allow blacks in their neighborhood after dark. Whereas the town of Brentwood was incorporated in 1922, and the town of North Brentwood was incorporated as the first black incorporated town in Prince George's County. Whereas integration of schools was implemented in 1963, and blacks were forced to go to all-white schools. Whereas since integration, blacks and whites have had their uncertainties and both good and bad experiences, even between the towns of Brentwood and North Brentwood. And whereas in 2015, the Black Lives Matter movement was started due to the death of Freddie Gray in Baltimore, Maryland. And since then, there have been excessive killings of black men and women by the hands of police. And whereas the Black Lives Matter movement is to eradicate police brutality and injustices to intervene in violence inflicted on black communities by the state and vigilantes. And whereas the Prince George's African American Museum and Cultural Center tells the history of communities in Prince George's County. And whereas Brentwood and North Brentwood are committed to working together to eliminate police brutality, systemic racism, injustices, and health disparities in both towns. And whereas Brentwood and North Brentwood stand together today to bridge the gap in our communities, strengthening relations by working collectively and responsibly for all our citizens and human beings. And now, therefore, it is hereby proclaimed that the towns stand together to ensure that all have the right to live in dignity, respect, and peace. And it is further proclaimed that we urge all to rededicate themselves to the principles of justice and equality for all. And witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands this 4th day of October 2022.
And I guess just for the historic picture and signature, you guys can join.
All right.
Wait, let's move the coffee cup.
You said what? Oh, you can, oh, yeah, that's, yeah.
You sure you want to leave it alone?
No, not really. Okay.
All right. With that, I'm going to move to the mayor and council report, and I have, our first is Councilmember Monroe.
All right, good evening, everyone again. So I'll just briefly talk about some of the events I attended. So the month started out on a somber note. I attended David Harrington's homegoing service. Thank you to the town administrator and mayor for also assisting with getting the letter for the family and also flowers. So I was able to deliver that. And you know, he was well respected and loved, so I appreciate all the love and support he's gotten from folks. So he had a massive impact on the community. And so also met with the town administrator and briefly talked about continued discussion on hybrid meetings and how we can figure that out for the new building as we move forward. So that's still ongoing discussion, but I'll keep everyone updated as we develop solutions. And then also attended the NML, officially a graduate now, got that sorted out.
Hey, that's great. Congratulations.
And so that was great. I always appreciate the whoop at the end.
That's right.
All right, and so a couple of updates. So Anacostia Heritage board meeting actually had a pretty good presentation, a lot of information. For tier one specifically, the thing that jumped out to me was the free resources that we can receive from the Parks Department or MNPCC. And I'll just get back to that. MNPCC.
Ask Shelley.
What's that?
Oh, MNCPPC?
There it is.
Rolls right off our tongue. Yeah.
So Bladensburg gave a presentation about the economic development feasibility study that they received as part of the resources that you can receive from the county. And there's an extensive list on their website, and I'll make sure everybody has a link about the types of projects that you can have them assist with. There's a limit every year that goes from July to the June fiscal year, but you can apply as a town, you go through a process. And if you do hear back again, that's not a charge to you. So I was blown away because the document that Bladensburg got was a pretty well done report. And I can go to any other project too. It can go to parks and land projects. It can go to historic studies. It can go to anything. I was sort of again blown away with the amount of resources that you can get for free. If you apply and then you do have to apply and you have to win it, but not win. I'm sorry, I should say approve. Be approved through the process. And so I thought that was a good one to keep in our back of our toolkit there, because instead of paying a consultant, we could actually leverage the county and some of our taxpayer dollars. And then there's also a quick update about ABCDC. We have which technically I already talked about, the event comes up next Friday. We have the team between Gateway CDC and also the Arts Magnet team. They have the box that they're going to unveil with the little art concept. I've seen some of the preliminary photos of the art that I showed at the last meeting with the Brentwood funky design that they weave into it, that I think is very, very much us. I don't know how else to say it other than it's very Brentwood. So that will be happening, and hopefully we can still leverage that design in other ways, because I think it's a pretty creative concept. So with that, I'll pause there. That is my report.
Thank you, Councilman Monroe. Public Works, Vice Mayor Lincoln.
All right. My report's kind of short, mostly because I was in the woods for 2 weeks. But of course, we had our Public Works Committee meeting. We identified some top priorities for Bartlett Park. We're coming up with a public survey so that the residents can kind of give us an idea of what they want our mission to be, as opposed to us deciding it for ourselves. And we're in the midst of a street lamp audit. Myself, along with the mayor and treasurer, hosted the first ARPA open house. So it was an opportunity for residents to come by and learn about the 2 resident programs we have available for them. That includes stormwater management, as well as affordable housing relief. I'd estimate we probably had about 50 people. Gave the presentation over the course of 3 hours, 3 or 4 times, had lots of good questions, gave out applications, and I think to date we've actually received 10 program applications, which is amazing. So
Yep.
I think it's been very well received. I think, at this point it's just a matter of folks getting those estimates that they need. So that was a big success. I was very happy with that. Myself and Mr. Gaston met with Prestige to discuss which trees were going to go where for the replanting effort. And lastly, as Mr. Gaston said, we were awarded recertification as a sustainable city by Sustainable Maryland. Just to give people an idea of sort of what a honor this is, we were one of only 18 Maryland municipalities to receive this award. There's over 150 municipalities in Maryland. Our application was approved for 22 different actions in 5 categories. And we received a total of 235 points, which puts us at the bronze status, which is the status we were last time we were certified. So this effort was begun by a former council member, Jerry Burgess, and so this is our 2nd certification, and like Mr. Gaston said, it's good for 3 years. So that's exciting. It's another plaque and award to hang on our wall. And that's my report.
Thank you. And next we have Councilmember Betcher Golf and the Green Team.
I don't have anything to add right now for this committee.
Special events, Councilmember Taylor.
So September, we were sort of easing our way back into having events. We hosted a block party that was on 38th and Perry. That was towards the end of September. We also met with the church to partner with them for Thanksgiving food giveaway. They're very interested in working with us. So we're in the stages of sort of coordinating that effort. I attended, as usual, PGCMA, Prince George's County Municipal Association General Body Meeting, as well as legislative committee meetings. We're still in the process of submitting legislative priorities for the next session. So if any of you all have anything that you would like to see from our county or our state representatives, please feel free to email Councilmember Marcus Monroe. I attended the Maryland Municipal League fall session in Annapolis, and while I was there, I took a class with the town clerk about racial diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I know that we're looking to work with National League of Cities to get some training done, but I was able to get a resource from Councilmember Katrina Dodro from New Carrollton for a resource through the University of South Florida Muma College of Business that I'm going to circulate to everybody. And it's Racial Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion in the Workplace. It's a certificate program, so that may be of interest for at least the council, while we're sort of still working with NLC to get that done. And at the moment, that is all that I have to report.
Excellent, thank you. Well, from my mayor's report, well, it's been a whole busy month. We've been working in different events, like the Hispanic Heritage Month, also helping with the ARPA funding, not only during the event that we host here at Town Hall, but I receive a lot of phone calls asking or wanting more information, because people were still, even though they receive a lot of information, they still have more questions. So it's good that they are actually replying back and bringing those applications back. I attended the MML, and mainly for the mayor's meeting, but I was able to attend and receive on behalf of the town of Brentwood that we get the sustainable certification once again. So we're not due until next 3 years that we have to continue doing what we have done. We need to follow up with Banner City, because I'm sure that we have 2019, because Giselle and I were at work on that one that year. So yeah, I'm sure I just find the email and I forward it to, because I'm missing that one right there. What else I have? Oh, we had a very important visit in the town of Brentwood. We have the Maryland Secretary of small, no, it was
Women,
Women-
minority, and small business.
a small women and minority business.
There you go.
So, Jimmy Reed.
Jimmy.
So he was very nice providing information. We have a lot of business owners that actually came up for that one, not for the Brentwood Business Association, but for that meeting. They were so interested in learning what is that the state is doing when it comes to funding. Also, we have people from Employ Prince George's that they also providing grants for these businesses if they hire local or Prince George's County residents. So it was a very nice, very interactive event. I guess I have so many items in my plate, but as I was able to meet other businesses, new businesses that are coming to our town as well. So, and I think we're gonna talk about that. I'm so excited that we apply, Councilmember Mr. Town Administrator and we apply for the National Legal City, and we're gonna be attending. We actually, it was kind of like a grant. So the town received the grant, allowing the three of us to be able to travel to Kansas City? Kansas City for the, what is the name? I'm sorry, I forgot the name of the, because it has a long name. The Racial Equity Institute. It's an inaugural cohort that we're gonna be participating. This is the first time they're doing something like this. So we are committed not only to attend this conference, but we have to be able to go to another conference in Washington, D.C., and 2 more online that we have to be. If we don't, one of us do not attend to those meetings, we have to pay back. So that's the commitment that we actually has to be able to dedicate the time to be able to attend. I'm also getting into another one, which is the NALEO, is the National Latino Elected Officials. I went this year to Chicago to one of their meetings, but you know, now it's everything related to racial equity and also ARPA funding. So we need to start paying attention to those because they are there's a lot of money coming back to our towns. So we need to do that. So I guess that's what I have. I don't remember anything else, Mr. Gaston, that I know we've been going through.
Yeah, we've been busy.
Oh, one last thing. Tomorrow there's a meeting for the Councilmember Monroe. I think I copy you in that email as well for tomorrow. I think it's at 3 p.m. that we have a meeting with the Gateway Management. It's in Gateway Management. The office, what is it, Dallas, Miss Dallas? Rhonda Dallas. She is working on this, trying to get a grant for the Gateway Arts. So we need to be part of that process and the application process, enable for her to get the funding for the area. So tomorrow is the meeting. So that's what I have. So that's it on my part. All right, moving forward, we have all business, and this is the RFP for 38 Place sidewalk installation.
You skipped over the consent agenda?
This is table, Mr. Gaston?
Yes, it will be tabled.
All right,
Are we on consent agenda, Mayor?
yes. Discussion on the petition received from 3700 block of Tilden Street requesting permit parking, and then we talked about ordinance amendment. Any updates? Attorney. No?
From the town's perspective, the only thing we need to do is order more parking signs to be hung in the mirror. In regards to the legislative part of it, my understanding, all we need to do is add this 100 block to the legislation, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct, Attorney Blake? And, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I thought at the last meeting we said that we needed to craft a new ordinance.
To include,
To include.
To include Tilden.
yes.
So we're just rewriting the old ordinance and including Tilden Street?
That's the only thing we need to do.
And we still have to do the first and second reading?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so, my question will be like, we will have to adopt this new ordinance in order to provide the, parking signs?
Well, are you talking about ordering the parking signs?
No, placing the parking.
Placing the parking signs.
Uh-huh,
Well, you don't want to post the signs until you get the law into effect.
okay.
So,
Because according to our charter, we have to respond back within 30 days to the person that put the petition, but then it's like, yes, we're moving forward, but
Yeah.
then we have, it's not like we going to put this, I just want to clarify that it's not that the town is actually putting the signs right away. We actually have to agree to amend the ordinance to include.
right.
Ex-
So have you given them notice that you're proceeding? Are we within the 30 days?
We have to send a notice, but then, we did mention that during the last meeting, the
Right.
work session.
Right.
So I guess at this point, it will be, the town administrator sending a letter to the petitioner stating that we're working on this, but and explaining the process
Yeah.
of amending, because it's not gonna be like, because I'm just making this clarification because I don't want to people assume we already signed this petition and we don't have the sign yet.
Mhm.
So we have to actually work in the language to amend that ordinance.
May
So-
I ask a question?
Mhm.
If what Jason is saying, all we need to do is take the ordinance currently in place and add that, is that something that we can read at the next work session?
To include, yes.
And then we could have the second reading at the council meeting for November?
Mhm.
So in theory, we could have these parking signs put up for December?
Yes.
Okay.
Just make sure it's properly noticed at the work session that that's
Yeah.
going to be a reader.
Mhm.
Do we need to do a special meeting ahead of the
No.
work session?
On the work session, you can actually have the first reading, but we need to announce that the mayor and council are working to amend the parking ordinance. So we have to make like announcement that we are working on that. So we can read, if we have the document prior, we can actually read the first on that, meeting of November. And do the second reading and passage on, but we have to have a hearing in between.
If you have a new, yes,
Yeah, because it's.
public hearing.
I mean, we can call a special meeting in the middle of November just so to, because the timing is like, if we read the first one, unless we read the first and have a hearing next meeting. But do we have time to announce that we're going to have a first reading and a hearing for next council meeting?
We have 2 weeks. Is
No,
that
that's
enough
why I
time?
say. Yes,
It's enough time.
enough time, okay,
Is
so,
there a waiting, do you have to wait 7 days after the first reading?
yeah,
to do
and
the
then we
hearing?
do the second reading on the council meeting. It's gonna be 2 weeks after.
Yeah.
It's gonna be second reading and passage.
I'm
Yeah?
good with that. Mhm.
Okay.
So Mr. Gaston, you'll send something to the petitioner to
Ma'am.
advise? Thank you,
Ma'am.
sir.
Mm,
So, Madam Mayor, I realize that you want to do an amendment for the request for, is it Tilden? For 3700 block of Tilden for permit parking. And this is going to require the amendment to the current ordinance, which you have to do the first reading and then you do a second reading, but in between you have to have the hearing. In relation to the other situation with general parking ordinance updates, would it be possible to include that amendment for the adding of,
In that ordinance, no, it has to
No.
be a separate ordinance.
I understand a separate ordinance, but I guess what I'm trying to prevent is, well, not trying to prevent, but I'm trying to ask if we can kind of kill two birds with one stone. If we can
If we can do it
together
in the same day,
in the
well, you
same-
will have to, you have 2 weeks to work on that language
Yes, ma'am.
and present it at next meeting, yes.
Okay, thank you.
So, yeah, it's gonna be parking related.
Okay.
You know, when you put the ad there, it's gonna be a hearing, parking, amending the parking ordinance to include Tilden, and then the other one will be amend the parking for the police department to include.
Thank you.
Are we clear? Are we good? You have one more question? Go ahead.
Not a question, more of a comment. My only concern would be, I know that was just plain right here, but I just want to make sure that the letter or notice that goes to the resident from the town administrator kind of clarifies that. That would just be my only thought.
The process, clarify the process.
Because if you're watching this right now, you probably got it, but most people,
Yeah,
most people won't. So when they see the notice for the first time on the agenda, it may seem confusing. So I think, to all those residents on the street, I think it would help that they got kind of clarification, at least in a short bullet list about what happens next.
Yeah, and at the same time, if they wanna be part of the hearing, that will help as well. Not just the signature, but they can be coming. Any other question? Are we clear for next meeting? Thank you. All right, so discussion on Big Belly trash cans.
So-
Mr. Gast?
Yes, so, we currently have, 4 Big Belly trash cans. They are being upgraded from 4G to the 5G network. There is 3 options on the table. One is to, have a contract created to maintain the Big Belly trash cans. It is an biannual cleanup, so we've invested almost $12,000 in these trash cans. My suggestion is that we look into having them, this being Big Belly, do a biannual tune-up, if you will, to make sure that the trash cans stay up to date, if you will. There are 2 options for the Big Belly trash cans. One is a lease option, and the other one is a complete purchase option. Unfortunately, the person who I've been talking to at Big Belly got the numbers wrong, so she needs to get back to me with the final numbers. She didn't realize that we wanted a lease option. So all I have is the purchase option, and that is $30,000 for 6 new Big Belly trash cans to be dispersed at various locations in and around the town of Brentwood. So I don't have a lease option because she did not realize that we wanted the individual lease option.
When we say 6 Big Bellies, I assume we're talking about like the combo.
Yes, I'm
trash
sorry.
and
Yes,
recycling.
this is so it's either, you can either, it's trash and recycle.
Yes, sir.
And when, in my mind, since we already have them, that's the only way I see them.
Of course.
If anybody would like to disagree, I don't have a problem with it, but it's a 2-tier situation. It's a trash can and a recycle bin. So that's the only way I think about them.
Me too.
And the vice mayor has come up with a variety of different locations in and around the town. There will Public Works will have to do some construction because the trash cans do need to be sat on a level, I don't call it playing field, but a level surface. So they'll have to create new concrete slab bases to keep them level. But we're still debating that. So I am waiting for Big Belly to get back to me with a leasing option. The leasing option will include upgrades, cleaning, and things of that nature. If we buy it outright, those responsibilities will fall on the town. So we spoke
But the
to.
ones that we have in the park, that's already been taken care of.
Right, so the ones that are currently in the town, the upgrades have been ordered and the parts are on its way. I've also asked Big Belly to provide us with that biannual updating, and how much that would cost, so that way our $12,000 to $15,000 investment does not go asunder, if you will. Because as much as I love Public Works, they don't really do much to the Big Belly trash cans besides empty them. So their crew will come out twice a year, make sure it's operating functionally, clean it and things of that nature. And that's a service fee. In the
So-
next set that we buy, the service fee will be included in the price, whether we lease and or buy.
Okay.
And that way, our investment stays.
So that 30,000 includes the service.
If I remember correctly, I'm almost sure.
That's not gonna be indefinite.
One more time?
For how long?
What's
Say
that?
eight years.
As long as, so the service is as long as you want it to be. But it all depends. But let me get back with Big Belly, because like I said, she called me today and told me that she misunderstood the leasing situation. So I'll get back to you on that. But I do know that 6 costs 30K. I know that.
Do you have any idea of, I think, to the treasurer's point, how long that service agreement would be for?
As long as you want to keep it.
But it sounded like it was included with the price.
It was included in the price, but I'll have to get back to her. She'll have to get back to me because
Okay.
I know that it was.
There's some
It's
numbers
something you
missing.
can turn off and on.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll get that to you.
Cool.
All right.
Thank
Is
you.
everybody happy? I'll make sure I'm clear on that because like we spoke today about it.
Yep, everybody's happy.
All right.
All right, next item. I need a motion to purchase salt for the winter snow season. Just like that.
So you want me to comment or?
No, first I need a motion with the amount.
I think it's $2,000.
Say it again,
I thought it
2,000.
was $2,000.
Can I do not exceed the 2,500 just to be safe?
That's what the budget is, 25.
All right.
There you go. But Mr. Watkins is not.
Okay.
It's not always.
I will also want to comment that the salt shed has been redone and repainted. Yes, it is, and I do have pictures, he sent them to me today. Long story short is, it's been redone and it's been repainted, and it is ready for the winter.
All right,
So it's a brand new, they put it on the back, and that's why they call it Public Works.
thank you, Mr. Gaston. I just need a motion.
I move to approve the purchase of, I move to approve the salt purchase for the winter season not to exceed $2,500.
Line item.
Do we have a line item? I don't have the budget.
We do, it's,
To come from line item
58015.
58015.
Okay. Any more question about salt? Nope. Please call the roll, Madam.
Councilmember Vetrigoff,
Yes.
Councilmember Monroe,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Leggett,
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Tremaine Lopez.
Buy the salt. Thank you.
That was the question.
Public Works Bobcat, the tune-up. Motion first and how much before discussion?
I move to approve the Bobcat tune-up not to exceed $1,200. Line item to be determined by the treasurer.
Comment, Mr. Gaston.
As you know, the Public Works Department has a Bobcat and it hasn't been tuned up in over a year. Mr. Welch has made it very clear to me on a number of occasions that I have been failing him as a public works person. The Bobcat needs to be tuned up. The amount that's been quoted was not above $1,200. They will come out, fix it, and do whatever they need to do to make sure the Bobcat is in working condition. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Call the roll.
Councilmember Vetrigoff,
Yes.
Councilmember Monroe,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Leggett,
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Tremaine Lopez.
Yes. Next item, outdoor classroom. I need a motion for the outdoor classroom equipment wish list, Thomastown Elementary School and Mount Rainier. Councilman.
I'll make a motion, yeah. Make a motion to approve a total of $17,000 pulled out of the ARPA category of donations, divided between Thomas Stone and Mount Rainier in the amounts of $10,000 for Thomas Stone and $7,000 for Mount Rainier Elementary to purchase outdoor classroom equipment.
Any questions about this?
So I had a question. Did you need anything else from us, or were we waiting from them on like what the preferred PTO?
We were waiting, correct, but we did get like a real specific list from both schools. So I think, I'll work with Shelley to make sure everything's within like our procurement policy. It seems like a lot of this stuff is going to be single source playground equipment, but we'll find a way to sort of make sure that we're, responsible and compliant, yeah. So, but they did give us the list, so we're ready to move forward. So.
Perfect. Any more questions? I just would like to have something like for Brentwood to have this big check thing so we can go there for the photo op, and they can have also for the record that we've been supporting our community in different things. So is that possible to get something like that, Giselle? Soon, so we can just present it.
2 chairs.
2 checks. 1 check, you can just erase and move to the next one. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna be using it for different
Different events. That's not a
different
bad idea,
events. So
actually.
yeah,
I like that.
yeah, it's like just
Yeah.
one, and then we go to the
It's
next.
not like they're
and
taking it to the bank, you know what I mean? Like walk in with it.
$35 on Amazon.
All right, Giselle, go ahead and bring me that check, and we can, Councilmember Monroe and I can go show up. Here, $10,000.
I love it.
Yep, to the next PTO meetings. Yep. All right, please call the roll.
Councilmember Vetri Goff. Yes. Councilmember Monroe.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Leggett.
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor.
Yes.
Mayor Chimene Lopez.
Yes. Thank you, it's approved. All right, motion to, is this for flag resolution, to approve or resolution of,
Thank you,
the
yes.
whole name.
So this was a resolution that was introduced during our regular council meeting in September. And it's a resolution governing the display of flags on town property. It's resolution 2022-03. So I make a proposal to adopt the resolution.
okay, that's your motion. Any questions about the motion? No question? Do you want to read just for the record one more time?
Sure. I do not give as dramatic of a reading as some people in this room. However, I will give it my best shot. A resolution of the Brentwood Town Council governing the display of flags on town property, to standardize the selection and placement of flags on town property, to standardize the procedure for lowering flags to half-staff. Whereas the Town Council desires to establish clear guidelines regarding the display of all flags flown on town-owned or town-maintained properties, and whereas in adopting this resolution, the Town Council declares that flagpoles owned or maintained by the town of Brentwood are not intended to serve as a forum for free expression by the public, but rather as a non-public forum for the display of any governmental and non-governmental flag authorized by the Town Council, either required by law or as an expression of the Town Council's official government speech. And now therefore, let it be resolved that the mayor and the council of the town of Brentwood hereby endorses this resolution, indicating their approval by signature hereof. Section 1, flags shall be displayed in accordance with federal and state statutes and regulations, including but not limited to United States Code Title 4, Chapter 1, and Maryland General Provisions Code 7-102. Section 2, town flag, the town of Brentwood flag shall fly at half-staff if either the United States or Maryland flag is at half-staff. The mayor may order the town of Brentwood flag to fly at half-staff at the death of a current or former council member, current or former town staff member, or a historically significant member of the community. Section 3, commemorative flags. As an expression of the town's official government speech, the town council may authorize the display of a commemorative flag to fly at town-owned or town-maintained properties. The town council shall only consider a request to display a commemorative flag if the request is made by a member of town council. Request to fly a commemorative flag by members of the public will not be considered. The decision to approve or deny a request to display a commemorative flag shall be made at a publicly noticed council meeting. 4, commemorative flags shall be displayed for a period of time that is reasonable or customary for the subject that is being commemorated. 5, commemorative flags must be either purchased by the town or temporarily donated for the town's use and must be clean, without holes and tears, and be made of an all-weather fabric. Commemorative flags may be the same size or smaller than the United States and Maryland flags that are flown. 6, if any other flag is flown at half-staff, the commemorative flag will also be flown at half-staff. 7, a commemorative flag, as defined in this policy, shall mean a flag that identifies with a specific historical event, cause, nation, or group of people that the town council chooses to honor or commemorate, consistent with the town's missions and priorities. The following are not allowed as commemorative flags and will not be considered by the town council. A, flags of a particular religious movement or creed to avoid the appearance of town government endorsing religion or a particular religious movement or creed. B, flags of a political party to avoid the appearance of town government endorsing a political party. And C, flags advocating a certain outcome of an election. 8, no flag, banner, or any other manner of display shall be stretched across any town property or streets of the town without permission from the town council. Passed and adopted this 18th day of October 2022.
Questions about the resolution? Hearing none. Let's go to the roll.
Councilmember Vesey Golf,
Excuse me, yes.
Councilmember Monroe,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Leggett,
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Tremaine Lopez.
Yes. So moved. Now we have the MOU. This is a mutual aid agreement between Brentwood, Maryland, and Carter City Police Departments. And I will have you read the agreement. We discussed this MOU before, so today we're just going to read for the record and then motion to approve.
Mutual aid agreement, Brentwood, Maryland, and Carter City, Maryland. This mutual aid agreement, the agreement is entered into and by and between the town of Carter City, Maryland, a body, corporate and, my apologies, corporate and political. Hereinafter, Carter City or the town of Carter City, on behalf of the Carter City Police Department, CCPD, and the mayor and council of the town of Brentwood, Maryland, a body, corporate and political. Hereinafter, the town of Brentwood, on behalf of Brentwood Police Department, BPD, collectively referred to hereinafter as the parties or the signatory jurisdictions. Whereas CCPD and BPD are charged with providing police services to the residents and visitors of their respective municipalities, and whereas the parties have adjacent police jurisdictions that meet and are divided along 6/10 of a mile long common municipal boundary line consisting of the CSX Railroad, right-of-way, and whereas the parties desire to provide for the safe and efficient administration of law enforcement, particularly along 38th Avenue, Maryland 208 corridor, passing through both towns. And whereas the parties to this agreement wish to enter into a mutual aid agreement, MAA, under criminal procedure, Article Maryland Code, annotated subsection 2-105, subject to the terms and conditions stated here and below. And whereas this agreement has been authorized by action as in the regular routine of legislative enactment of the respective governing bodies of both towns. And whereas the town of Carter City has previously entered into similar mutual aid agreements with other agencies and municipalities, including the port towns of Bladensburg, Comar Manor, Edmonston, on or about January 7, 2009. An additional separate mutual aid agreement with the town of Comar Manor on May 14, 2020, and the National Capital Park and Planning Commission dated on June 12, 2019, and fully executed on July 28, 2021. And whereas it is the mutual desire of each of these police agencies and their parent municipalities to enhance, foster, and maintain positive working relationship currently existing between them. Now, therefore, in consideration of the mutual covenants and obligations contained herein and other good and valuable consideration, the receipt and sufficiency of which is hereby acknowledged, the parties agree as follows. Article 1, Scope and Agreement. The town of Brentwood, Maryland, and the town of Carter City, Maryland, have entered into this agreement for the purpose of providing mutual aid and assistance to each other's municipalities' police departments for the purpose and subject to limitations set forth herein. Nothing contained in this agreement is intended to cede, relinquish, or limit respective legal jurisdiction, legal authority, or jurisdiction of either department under circumstances not addressed herein. And the two parties respective do hereby expressly reserve all such authority and jurisdiction to the fullest extent otherwise provided under the Code of Maryland, the Code, by ordinance of the municipalities, common law of Maryland, or any other applicable law or regulation promulgated pursuant thereto. For example, and without limiting without limiting the generality of the foregoing, it is understood that nothing provided in this agreement shall limit or otherwise impair the authority of any officer of either department to make an arrest without a warrant pursuant to the provisions of the code at sections 2-102, 2-202, 2-203, or 2-301 of the Criminal Procedure Article, each as may be amended from time to time. In addition, the failure of either party to comply with the various requirements enumerated under this agreement may only be enforced by the parties hereto under this agreement, and shall have no effect on the authority of either department to exercise the police powers of this state. It is being expressly understood that this agreement shall have no third-party beneficiaries intended or implied. Article 2, Jurisdiction. Pursuant to subsection 2-105 of the Criminal Procedure Article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, the Mutual Aid Statute, or the Act, a governing body of any municipal corporation.
Chief, I will interrupt you there. You don't have to read the whole thing, just the first part of the, but
Yes, ma'am. My apologies. I'll
just the
end it there.
whereas pieces are sufficient for, the-
Yes, ma'am.
well, with that,
I'll end with this one?
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
My apologies. The parties acknowledge that the police officers, agents, and employees, when acting in furtherance of authority of this agreement beyond the territorial limits of the jurisdiction in which they are commissioned or employed, shall at all times remain employees or agents of their jurisdiction in which they are commissioned or employed.
Thank you. Thank you so much. With that, I need a motion to approve or move with this MOU.
I move to approve the MOU between the town of Brentwood and Cottage City Police Departments.
Any questions regarding this MOU? Everybody was clear? Giselle, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Taylor,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Leggett,
Yes.
Councilmember Monroe,
Yes.
Councilmember Vetri Golf,
Yes.
Mayor Tremaine Lopez.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Chief. All right. Moving to new business, well, we have to scratch one because we already did unity of the two Brentwoods because Mayor Robinson limited time. And I will move to the National League of Cities Racial Equity Institute participation from the town of Brentwood, and I will have Mr. Monroe to go over.
Okay, I'll do a brief overview and then get some assistance from the mayor and town administrator on the fall logistics here. But again, as the mayor mentioned, we were selected. We were one of 10 cities. So overall, it was Akron, Ohio, Athens, Ohio, Benicia, California, Columbus, Ohio, Harrisonburg, Virginia, Carolina, Montana, and then St. Louis, South San Francisco, and then Waco, Texas. So of all applicants, we were part of the inaugural group for the Racial Equity and, Race Equity and Leadership, or REAL Institute cohort. And as the mayor mentioned, that requires us to participate both in the onboarding, which is next week, but specifically in the conferences. The one in spring is easy because it's in DC, but specifically we need to just clarify with you all what's happening with the Kansas City conference. So they are covering, this is why I need some assistance on this, they are covering our registration and moving forward. Are they covering the flight? They are covering, okay, I got a clarification from my town administrator, so they're covering all the costs, which is amazing. And then the town administrator, myself, and then there will be going, and if we wanted to add a fourth person, just to kind of clarify this, we would have to pay for that fourth person. Because I know there was interest from other folks that wanted to attend and participate. That being said, I'm gonna pause there, and is there anything else to add as far as context setting before we talk about next steps? Anything else that was?
I have anything else.
No, the only question I think it was brought, but, because they're paying pretty much the, room and board and the, airplane tickets. But, the question is like, if we get per diem for that. I don't know what, I assume that during the conference, they might offer food, we don't know that.
Oh, yeah, you're traveling.
So, no, that's why I said, do we have to approve since like, well, this is gonna be a motion because we actually receive it, so I don't know how.
What the rates are? It's Kansas City?
Yeah. So I guess that's the only thing that we might approve tonight.
Yeah,
Kansas City.
No, when?
When, November 14th through the 16th, it's 3 days.
May I jump in?
Mm-hmm.
I want to let everyone know that November 15th is actually town council meeting, so I'm not sure how you guys want to.
We still have a quorum if 2 of us are not in.
Just FYI.
If the vice mayor wants. Okay.
Just FYI.
I love sitting on the big mat.
And this is the rolling down chair, so you can get.
I stay here.
So,
And so do we need to do any motion as far as, saying with the 3 that's going, for example, or maybe apply that, if there's anything that is, this is a new one for me.
Correct.
it is a new for
It is.
all of us because,
I'm waiting for them to get back to me on logistics. They said they would get
well,
back
that's
to
the
me.
meeting about on, the 25th. That's what we're
Right,
going
as
to be
far as a
meeting.
Formal action with us as a group, I didn't know if we needed to do anything, and I guess I'll look at town attorneys.
No.
In a situation like this, there's nothing we need to do formally.
All right, so that's pretty much it. And the only thing I have before we close this meeting, before going into a closed session, the Neighborhood Design Center, they sent me the, but I think we already have the funding in the budget. So our piece is, Brentwood, cash match is $10,000. I think I sent that around. So, the project is moving forward. There's a timeline there as well. And, I guess we just need to approve this
think-
funding.
Shelley was telling me, but I think we encumbered 8,700.
Yes, so, yeah, you have this in the budget.
We have how much in the budget?
We have $7,275 encumbered,
Okay,
and then we have another $2,725 that was budgeted in the.
yeah, because I think we knew the amount
Yeah.
back then. So,
Feels like
I did not, add this item in the agenda, but if it's the wish of mayor and council to just,
So we're approving
we already approved the budget for it, right? I mean,
yeah, that's what I said. All right, so just waiting for the invoice that is coming from Neighborhood Design Center to be paid.
Can't believe it's actually happened.
So do I need
Yeah.
to make a motion?
Mm,
Yes. So we're spending money?
yeah, just for the sake of, like, we actually, 10,000.
I approve $10,000 to be expended towards the Wyndham Road Barrier Project. Line items to be decided by the treasurer.
Any questions? Nope. Giselle?
Councilmember Vetri Golf,
Yes.
Councilmember Monroe,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Leggett,
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Tremini Lopez.
Yes. Yay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I need a motion to adjourn to go into closed session with council member, treasurer, and town's attorney. I have police chief and town administrator. Is that, everybody's going? Everybody's
Yeah.
going to,
Mm,
except the town clerk. Thank you very much. Very good, have a great night.
So motion to adjourn